Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the David Rotter Show. 4th of July, 2026 edition of the show tonight. I have not recorded with this guitar, and nor have I recorded with this little modeling amp. So what we've got is one cable, one guitar, and a little 25 watt amp that has an 8-inch speaker. You wouldn't think that these things really could, unless they were good, they might not be able to really do much. It's an American Strat called a Performer. It has a couple of unique things, but for the most part, this is really just a 60s. This is a 60s Stratocaster, 60s design, flat magnets, flat Alnico magnets. In other words, like they're not beveled like some of the modern pickups are, and 6-screw steel plate. It's steel bent saddle, same as this old stuff. It's not. It's a synthetic bone, but it was done well, so I left it alone. And these are just what they did for the pegs was they upgraded the design of the Kluson. The Kluson relationship with Fender back in the 50s and 60s. It was, they make their own pegs, but they made pegs for everybody. It seemed like, just a lot of people were using this. But this split shaft thing was always supported by a screw in the back over here. And this particular design made last year, the way that the pegs are tightened with a nut, it's so much more stable this way, and it doesn't interrupt the design. You still you don't see any string because it's a split shaft. The string goes inside and you wind it around. And so everything about this, except for the frets are bigger than a normal Strat neck. So I've never had a neck with jumbo frets, but anyway. So like I said, it has some unique features. Another unique thing that this guitar has is the ability to use all 3 of the pickups at the same time. Now, I've never heard this combination before, so this is what I did with this little amp, this little modeling amp. It's a Line 6 modeling amp. I say it's 25 watts because it's barely that, but they say it's 30. But if you were to put a 30 watt, like an AC 30 next to this thing, even if you put the AC 30 on 1 or 2, which is, it would still just dwarf this. So it's not 30 watts. But what I did was I put a Italian Jensen 8-inch Alnico speaker in there. And as soon as I did that, every single patch, like, completely changed. Even the noise and even just every characteristic of these patches really, like, there was a ceiling of hum on one clean patch. There was so many weird things. Putting that speaker in there, it just solved all this stuff. So anyway, what you can do with this is you pull this tone knob up. So here's the back pickup, this neck pickup. These 2 pickups together. Here is a lot of people that are like real tone junkies. So many people that I talk to that, especially like real ones that have been doing it for a long time, they don't really like this middle pickup. I mean, here's the back one, just the chord. It's kind of nice. These are Yosemite Alnicos, so they're Fender. That's the name of them, Yosemites. But they're just a bit brighter. They have that same flat overtone, and they are staggered, but they're not staggered quite the exact same way. So there are some weird little tiny differences, but again, here's the two together. That's really kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And here's this middle one. So it's real bright, but it doesn't have a lot of guts. So where would you use this? You know, how would it, by it, how it is? That would get buried. Unless it was the only, you know, and it still kind of has like an acoustic kind of, it sounds like it would get buried. And here's these two together, the lead pickup in the middle together, which is a real good. That's a great, you know. So just any kind of R&B, any kind of funk, any kind of soul stuff, even if it's modern stuff, you know, it you know that. And I actually didn't have it quite as bright as it could be. And now here's the lead pickup. Actually, you know what? I did have this pulled up. So wait a minute. Here are the few pickups. That's more like it. Then here is all three pickups together. That sound that I've never heard this sound. What's also unique, you can have this back pickup, and what that is basically the old telly trick. You know, that plunkety, very very woody sound, where the Telecaster with the back pickup and the neck and the lead pickup together. And here is that fake Telecaster, that, you know, the faux Telecaster. Something specifically that's kind of like, the kind of music that you would use, that sort of twang, and that it has a low end and it's got a woody plunketiness. So if you played maybe some surf stuff or some, you know, I don't know. Another one of those standard surf ones would be, and this sound does kind of, it does do that. Playing backwards really does kind of like. has all these lead characteristics. Now, a traditional lead pickup on a Strat did have some low end. You know, it's not just this screaming, you know, high end thing. So let's say you turn the volume. One of the neat, very good things about a high quality potentiometer is that, you know, you don't get this with the Indonesian electronics. You might get a pine body, you might get, you know, a maple neck, you may even get a bone nut. You know, you'll get some stuff, but the try to do something subtle like this. And then if you do a gain stage, let's say, so here, that's like a model of a concert. You know, I used a 410 model, and I used a concert model. I did everything I could to, you know, make this little line 6 modeling amp, this particular one, be a Fender. Now I think this is, you know, I think that if you have a Marshall sound, maybe an essential Vox sound, and obviously an essential Fender sound, even one that has clean and breakup, and you have a little bit of, like, you have, if you make your model, each model have an overdrive and or lead sound, or a rhythm crunch sound and a rhythm clean sound. Every one of the models, if they each had 3 of them, you would really have, like, you know, all your bases covered as far as, like, you know, your basic overtones, you know. And so now this, so I think this is a model of a Marshall, but this particular, like, check out the, and all it is the effects in this amp, and again, this replacement at Italian-made Alnico 8-inch Jensen. It's a 4 ohm driver, and so you can really put some, you know, put some power through it, and it can take it. You know, you probably could put, you know, upwards of 40 watts through it. You know, I don't know if you want to do it every day, but so check this out. Because of how clean these things actually get, you could take a gain stage overtone like this, and you can really clean it up quite nicely, just to give it a little bit of crunch. And then if you pick it really soft, or use your fingers even. Now, I'm going to do a more in-depth demo with this thing with the back plate off, because I got to explain a few things about this, because if you set up one of these things correctly, you can really just go ballistic. And once your strings are stretched, man, it's like, yeah, it won't do what a Floyd does, but it also doesn't have the pain in the ass stuff that a Floyd has. So, like, this really is the most utilitarian design still to this very day, if it's set up right, because you can get high tension springs. You could do stuff to make this thing behave really, really, besides the most stupid antics, with the bar, you could really get away with a lot. So that's this little, that's this demo of this American Performer Stratocaster. It's just a two-piece alder body, Alnico Pickups, rosewood fingerboard, maple neck, skunk stripe for the truss rod. Everything about four screw plate. Everything about this thing is just basically like a '60s guitar. That's why and plus it was only like about a G, so really, really, really worth it. To get an American guitar, made by Fender, still, because I remember playing on the streets in Kansas City, and there was a dude that would always come by, and we would do these really cool jams together. He was really a great guitar player, and he would come and he'd bring a little thing, and we would just play together. And whatever we earned together, obviously he would get half of that, no problem. And then but the stuff that we would play, and he told me that he had just gotten this thing, and it was set up really, really great by some local luthier dude, and that was a G, and that was like what? I mean, that had to be at least a good 20 years ago. So, to get one these days for a G is, now they're making one called a Professional now. They stopped making this one, so you can still get them on like eBay and like Reverb and other places. And not everybody digs the pickups. People say that they're too bright and all the rest of it. But all you got to do is turn the treble knob down, and then that takes care of the brightness. Other people that I've read reviews of people complaining about this pickup here, this lead pickup. So it actually does have some really good, beautiful overtones. It has that honk that because I have an old Strat. The old Strats, they had this honk to the lead pickup. Turn the treble all the way up, it's there's the honk. So even when it's super, super clean, it's got this overtone of like it wants to fuck your shit up. It wants to it's ready to go. Give it, and this is already also at a really rather high gain. So give it a little bit more gain, but not distortion, not overdrive. Just give it some gain. And then you have your basic, very good utilitarian. Anyway, thank you for watching, you guys. I'm putting up a bunch of stuff tonight and from last night, and then I'll be recording all week. I've been dealing with a couple of things where just the physical vessel needed to repair itself before I could actually do this kind of work in front of a camera. So I appreciate you guys watching, and stay safe over the weekend, and rot the nation. You take care. Bye.